Welcome back to HAC's monthly commentary for the month of June. Today we're going to take a look at what transpired last month, which sectors outperformed. We'll also take a look at HAC's portfolio positioning last month and the changes that it made. And there were a lot of changes that were made. We'll also take a look at what we can expect in the month of July from a seasonal viewpoint. Let's dive in. Last month, the S&P 500 was up 5%. Investors were pleased with the overall development that's been taking place with the tariffs, or at least they've been pushing off their concern about the tariffs as the deadlines for tariffs have been extended, and we saw a strong rally in the markets. The technology sector was leading the way once again as we moved into a risk-on mode. All right, let's take a look at the portfolio changes that HAC made in the month of June. Overall, HAC increased its equity holdings. The reason why it did this was it wanted to position itself for the favorable seasonal trend that takes place where the stock market tends to perform well from late June into mid-July. Now, why this seasonal trend takes place is that investors tend to go into the market ahead of Q2 earnings season, and this tends to push the market higher into July. And July, overall, over the long term, has been a positive month, but most of the changes or the positive return has occurred in the first part of the month. HAC also initiated a position in the biotech sector. Now, the biotech sector tends to perform well from late June into September. HAC took on a position in the gold sector as well. The strong seasonal period for gold tends to occur from early July into early October. HAC also increased its position in U.S. government bonds. Government bonds tend to do particularly well in the month of July and can perform well in August and September. So what should we expect in the markets in the month of July? Overall, on average over the long term, July tends to be a positive month on a seasonal basis. However, the second half of July tends to be the weaker half of the month. And there's some bad news, and that is August on a seasonal basis tends to be one of the weakest months of the year. So investors are going to have a little bit of caution, even if the stock market is moving up in the first half of the month, at least from a seasonal basis. Thank you very much for joining me today. I'd love to know your comments on the markets. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you next time.